Good afternoon in New York and the Eastern North America, and morning, middle, and the United States Western part. Good evening in Europe, Middle East and Africa, Iraq in particular, and welcome whatever time of day or night for all who are joining us from all corners of the world. I'm Yael Danieli, founder and executive director of the International Center for Multigenerational Legacies of Trauma, ICMGLT for short. Thank you very much for joining us at today's webinar, very unique webinar on the Ezidis sacred practices, core beliefs, and rituals in the face of multi-generational trauma. Those of you who need interpretation, please scroll down and you will see a little world with 3 dots. If you click, you see interpretation, and then you choose the language you need, English or Arabic or Kurdish today. This International Center for Multigenerational Legacies of Trauma webinar is held in advance of the Yazidi 3-day fast. The webinar introduces the sacred practices, core beliefs, and rituals that have united and sustained the Yazidi people throughout their 4,000-year history. International Yazidi expert panelists will explore the meanings of being Yazidi through reciting the holy text and presenting the cosmological, natural, social, philosophical, and spiritual dimensions of the Yazidi holy days. Your moderator, I am a clinical psychologist, traumatologist, victimologist, and psychohistorian. Having developed the first program to help Nazi Holocaust survivors and their children in the 1970s, I have devoted much of my career to studying, treating, writing about, and preventing lifelong and multi-generational impacts of massive trauma worldwide, to ensuring victims' rights, the rights of future generations, and to reparative justice. I conceive of psychohistory as we live history in the now, not only as a list of past dates, events, and numbers, but as it shapes our decisions and ways of being today. This international webinar is an example of ICMGLT's Yazidi Working Group's dedicated work at its best. Member Dr. Pierre Maman Ottman gave birth to the idea. Other members joined in. Its chairs and ICMGLT's advisory council, Panaga Organization Director Zirak Hamid, and generous Dr. Michelle Sanders ensured its implementation, and our Arabic and Kurdish interpreters, Jamal Saido, Saman Shabi, and Peshkafti Tariq, helped make it widely available. Thank you. Our first speaker is Sharo Ibrahim. Sharo Ibrahim, born 1963, is a retired school teacher and longtime servant of the Lalish Temple, the holiest Yazidi pilgrimage site that I had the honor of visiting. He taught Yazidism for 21 years in Sharia schools and remains active in community ceremonies and sacred recitations. He has participated in 4 international conferences, playing an important role in presenting Yazidi identity to the world. Our second speaker is Pir Mamo Othman, a researcher, lecturer, and the founder of the Institute of Psychotherapy and Psychotraumatology at the University of Duhok, Kurdistan. Dr. Othman has degrees in English literature, psychology, and political science from the University of Baghdad and the Free University of Berlin. He served as a legal interpreter and Minister of State for Civil Society in Baghdad and was Chief of International Relations for the Kurdistan Regional Government. Third is also our Yazidi working group member, Dalia Jamil, a 25-year-old master's student at Leibniz Universitat Hanover in Germany. Dalia is pursuing a Master's of Arts in the North American Studies program. Dalia is originally from Iraq and is deeply passionate about literature and its power to address complex social and cultural issues. Through her studies, she focuses particularly on Yazidi-related issues and the injustices they have endured during the genocide. Last but not least is Dr. Majid Hassan Ali. Having earned his doctorate on religious minorities in Iraq at the University of Bamberg, Germany, Majid is an associated member of the Center for Yazidi Studies at the Georgi Tsereteli Institute of Oriental Studies, Ilia State University, Tbilisi, Georgia, and editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Yazidi Studies. He studies challenges faced by religious minorities in Muslim-majority countries and published on Kurdish political movements, Yazidi identity, extremism, migration, and the enslavement of Yazidi women. Within an hour after the conclusion of the webinar, you will receive the recording. We have between an hour and a half and 2 hours for the webinar, depending how engaged our audience would be. Each of our presenters will speak for around 8 minutes. Following an interchange among the panelists, I will open the floor to questions or brief comments from the virtual audience. I will then invite our panelists to conclude today's webinar with quotes last words. Please use the question and answer or chat functions, and we will do our best to respond to as many questions and brief comments as we can. Feel free to direct your questions to a particular author or panelist or to the full panel. I now have the honor of welcoming Sharo Ibrahim. Dear Mr. Ibrahim, the screen is yours. Go ahead. Sharo, go ahead.
بله.
In the name of God, greetings to all the guests and all the participants and also the audience across the globe. From the first talking about the creation of the universe according to the Yezidi belief. Before the creation, God had a pearl created from His light, and we have a verse saying and emphasizing this actually. He's saying that God has created a pearl from his light, and that the light of the pearl for him was making the world luminous. And after many ages, God created the angels, and he's counting them. All the names that you're hearing, these are the seven angels created by God, and they're at the disposal of the Almighty God. After that, God consulted the seven angels regarding the creation of the universe. He says that the God and the angels have consulted each other about the creation of this universe. And we have another verse emphasize how the peacock angel is actually the archangel. My Lord has created the world from a pearl and created then the seven angels, and for them God has assigned peacock angel as the archangel. And from the pearl actually could not resist the might and formidability of God. Therefore, it burst out and then created was the world. So again, it says that the pearl was actually unable to take in the might of God. Therefore, it exploded, and from which was created the four elements of nature: soil, fire, air, and water. And then were created the stars, moons, and other planets. Meanwhile, there is another verse called Zabune Maksur. It clarifies and highlights that that the earth was actually liquid, and God said after 40 years nothing was actually growing on this earth until came down Lalish. When Lalish came down, the world and the universe was decorated, and the earth was decorated, and the four elements mentioned earlier were also began to exist after some other years. Then God, the conversation happened between God and the spirit, because God wanted to blow the spirit into the human beings. So between Adam and the spirit, there was a lot of discussions and argument. So the spirit was not willing to get into the body of Adam. So, and after God decided that, or the spirit enters the body of Adam, the blood began to circulate into his body, and then Adam sneezed and life began to go through his body. So from Adam was created another 72 peoples or nations. And so Adam and Eve became actually the first creators, first human beings on earth. Let us talk about the second of Ezi. What is Ezdi and Ezidism? Ezi is for Yezidis, is one of the names of God. And we have said that Sultan Ezi is actually the Lord, who has named himself 1,000 times, and the greatest of which is God, or Khuda in Kurdish. These are all the people who believe in God, and that peacock angel and Ezidism is the practice or faith actually exercised by them. The Ezidism means worshiping or worshippers of God. The Ezidi means the spirit or purified spirit and the right people. And there is a verse proving this. If God wishes, we are Yezidis and we follow the Izda God, and we satisfied with our faith, we are. And we have been born Yezidis, and die shall we as Yezidis. Ezidism, as we have said, it is the practices, ritual, and rite that Yezidis actually perform in their daily life. Ezidi or Ezdi, it means God, as thy, and it is a path for the righteous and good people. When Yezidis actually say their prayers, that we do it on a daily basis, and of course we've got a lot of them, but I will mention some of them. So, God, you are the wish achiever. You are the protector of those who are helpless. You are the guardian of the poor, and you are the provider of sustenance. You are actually the judge of all judges, and you are the Lord of all, and you have named yourself thousands of times, and the greatest of which is Khuda, which means Azda or God. So how we use this actually appreciate and value the tongue, mind, and self, because regarding for example, desires, when you say if you have, when the desires play their role, the mind gets out of your head. So being considerate is very important of this, so that desires shouldn't overwhelm the mind. So, and there's another verse asking people to think of the skies, and God has actually co-founded the universe all by the power of the creator God, and the blessing conferred and granted upon, bestowed upon human beings is actually the mind. And there is also something about the tongue, or saying, oh, the tongue. There is a word that you shouldn't say in this world, and you don't have to hurt the feelings of those who hear you. So it means we don't have to utter words and hurtful words that actually hurt and harm the feelings and emotion of other people. So we, as these, value, appreciate, and respect all other peoples and nations. And these, we have two verses proving that. And one of which says, this world is a world full, this world is full of different faiths and religions, and everybody is worshiping God according to their own beliefs and faith. Everybody is actually worshiping God, but only in a distant manner. And so, for example, for us, we say that God, you are the one who thrones, who we can say sits on the throne. Therefore, I say we respect humanity and humankind, actually. Therefore, we say, dear brothers, we see all human beings as brothers. Therefore, I reiterate that we keep respecting, appreciating all other nations and other peoples as we respect the mankind as created by God and who are destined to actually pass away. So, and there is a verse, oh, you, the son of Adam, you are only a traveler in this world. No matter how hard, how long you stay in this world, belong to God, you shall finally be. No matter what your religion or your faith is, the destiny is actually for us the same for all mankind. So therefore I say, and there is another verse, Meskino Sharo, which says, this world is like a fiction. It's like a dream. The earth is like a hub. We human beings are like traders. Some come and some actually accommodate in it. It means that no matter what, the life will continue on this earth. Some of us will depart the world and others will enter into it. And it means it's just like a dream. Sometimes you ask, where is that person? They tell you departed he is now from this world. Means he has passed away. And thank you very much for this great webinar. I wish you all the best, and I really find this important work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for honoring us with your presence and wisdom. I now give the screen to a close friend, Pierre Maman Ottman. Dr. Maman, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear doctor, and we appreciate all your efforts for supporting our case and processing it to the international community. It's not easy to find good friends, and honestly, we find you as a voice of the voiceless people. So we are proud of you, dear doctor. So my subject is that just next week we'll start with the 3-day fast. So the Yazidi 3-day fast. But I want to give a very brief summary about Yazidism. What's Yazidi? So Yazidi religion is considered one of the most ancient religious traditions of the Middle East. So its historical and cosmological roots go back to Mithraism, which is at least 2,000 years BC. So Yezidism is a monotheistic faith centered on the worship of one God who was, before that time, who was the Son and later changed to the Almighty God. Yet it's formally classified among the major. So our religion is not among or classified among the world religions, but our religion, Yazidism, is more than a philosophy of life. It answers a variety of questions. So it constitutes far more than philosophical worldview. It offers a comprehensive religious system with its own theological reflections on the meaning of life, the nature of good and evil, and the relationship between the divine and the human world. Contrary to Zoroastrian religion, Yazidism does not posit two opposing cosmic forces locked in eternal conflict, Ahura Mazda and Ahriman. Instead, it teaches that the dualities observed in nature, which is virtue and vice, light and dark, hot and cold, life and death, manifest themselves in the human conditions through inner tensions and moral behavior. The religion does not claim, so Yazidism does not claim a universal authority over all humanity. Rather, it is it's concerned with itself. And since the rise of universal religions, especially Islam in Kurdistan, the Yazidis have endured long periods of marginalization and persecution, during which they struggled to maintain their religious identity, belief, and communal continuity. So historically, our religion is more concerned with the nature, as the world religions were concerned with paradise, hell, the day of judgment. Our Yezidism was so developed an innate relationship with the cosmos. So, for instance, our 3-day fast, we, the first Yezidis who were inhabiting in Kurdistan were observing the cosmos, and they realized that by the end of June of each year, 3 stars appear. They are called Pir, Tarazu, and Qurh. So, in Yezidis cosmology, the disappearance of these stars over consecutive nights became associated with a sacred fasting practice. Today, the 3 days fast is traditionally observed on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the second week of December in the Gregorian calendar. So, the first day, fasting day at night, the first Peru disappears. In the second night, Tarazu, and third Qurh on the third day. So the fasting concludes with Cejna. I'll come to the theological part of it. So the fast marks a moment when the cosmos and earthly realm are believed to be in harmony. So Yezidis symbolically participate in the renewal of creation and the balancing of the universe. The practice reaffirms the sacred bond between humanity and the Creator. Spiritually, the fast serves as a time of inner purification. It's understood as a process of cleansing the heart and mind, reducing attachment to material desires, and strengthening awareness of the divine. So Yezidis describe becoming more transparent to spiritual light and more receptive to divine grace. Furthermore, the fast carries deep historical significance. So because we have undergone a variety of persecutions and genocides, so it reminds us of the resilience, affiliation with the religion, and fear and commitment to preserving their ancient religious heritage. So those 3-day fast is a kind of renewal of hope as community approaches a new year. Socially, the fast fosters solidarity and compassion. Families gather together at sunset to break the fast together. Neighbors share food, and acts of generosity are emphasized, reinforcing social cohesion and mutual support. Finally, the Yazidi 3 days fast embodies a rich interplay of cosmology, spirituality, communal memory, and ethical practice. It purifies the soul, strengthening the belonging of the fundamental principles of these ancient religions. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mamo, and thank you for the multidimensional analysis of the value and the benefits of the rituals. Thank you very much. Dear Dalia,
Yes,
beautiful Dalia,
thank you.
The screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here today. And thank you for giving importance to the religious minorities, and we are one of them. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who is joining us today and watching us. Let me share my PowerPoint and let me know if it works. See now?
Yes.
Okay. So today I will be talking about one of the holy feasts in the Ezidi religion, which is Khadr Ilyas. So Khadr Ilyas is an ancient spiritual and religious feast celebrated by Ezidis. And according to the Ezidi belief, Khadr Ilyas is an immortal celestial figure. He was also known as an angel of agriculture and rain. It is connected to farming and germination, as its arrival marks the end of planting grains and seeds and the beginning of Earth's fertility cycle. So a Khadr Ilyas feast symbolizes fertility, rain, and protection, also the beginning of new productive season in nature. And Khadr Ilyas feast occurs every year on the first Thursday of February, according to the Eastern calendar. Also, some believe that Khadr Ilyas is a prophet or a guardian saint, while some other beliefs consider him as one of the God righteous servants. And according to ancient Ezidi religious beliefs, he fulfills the wishes and prayers of the believers, especially those who are distressed or in need, like making their supplications answered. So here we have some rituals and traditions of this feast. Like most of the Yezidis fast 3 days in Khadr Ilyas. Like it is optional, not like Pir Mammo just mentioned. Like next week we have a 3 days fast that everybody fast, but for Khadr Ilyas it is optional. But like for those who their names Khidr and Ilyas in the Yazidi community, they have to fast like each of them, while for the rest of the Yazidis, it is optional for them, but most of them prefer fasting all 3 days. So our fasting days, they begin from it's on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the celebration take place over 2 days. The following days of the fasting days, which is Thursday and Friday. Thursday, especially for Khidr, and the Friday is for Elias. So for Khadr Ilyas feast, we as Ezidi community or Ezidi religious, we have symbolic food that everybody make it, which is called behun, or like literally mean without the blood, emphasizing purity, peace, and absence of harm. Because Khadr Ilyas is unlike other Yazidi religions, animal sacrifice is strictly forbidden during the Khadr Ilyas feast, and this prohibition reflects a deep respect for the symbolism of fertility, renewal, and the sanctity of life. Because a Khadr Ilyas feast occurs during the animal's natural breeding season, that's why it is forbidden for Yezidis during this feast to have an animal sacrifice. And this kind of sweet, you can say, this symbolic food, I can call it sweet. It is considered one of the oldest types of sweets known in the Ezidi religion, and it is made of 7 types of the dried grains and legumes, including wheat, barley, chickpeas, sunflower seeds, sesame, beans, and corn. And after that, after they they roast them, they mix them with date molasses, symbolizing heritage and deep connection to the land and nature. And these 7 types, like ingredients, reflects the 7 days of the creation. Like number 7 is a sacred number in the Ezidi religions because of the Ezidi belief in the existence of 7 angels. So like many things in the Ezidi religions, you will see they are related to number 7. The other one, yeah. So here you can see some photos. I have I brought some photos just to see what we have here. So after the roasting grace on the firewood, maybe you can see these women are sitting. It is called jafuf. Jafuf, in the ancient time, we have jafuf, not like now, which is traditional clay stove heated with wood, and then they grind them with stone mills. Like here, you can also see stone mills, and this is reflect ancient Ezidi heritage. After that, after they make it a bowl of bihun, or some Yezidis call it civic also, but most of them call it bihun. It is placed inside the houses symbolically, like it is inviting the visit and blessing of Khadr Ilyas to their houses, and they are interpreted as a sign of good fortune and blessings for the family in the next year or in the following year. So here I have brought a very short video, a quick video, just to show you how they make this. Yeah, it is so quick, but I think there is no voice or sound or music, but you're gonna see it. So this is the way that we make it behun of 7 types of grains, and how they make it with that molasses, and this is the way that they make it. Here are also some spiritual beliefs. As I mentioned in the first slide, that Ezidi believe that Khadr Ilyas is responsible of fulfillment of wishes and dreams, and they also said Khadr Ilyas grants hope and prayers for everybody who just wash from their hearts to Khadr Ilyas. They Khadr Ilyas gonna grant them hopes and prayers. And there is also another thing among the Ezidis. So these roasted grains before the occasional day, after the 3 days of fasting, before the special day or the celebration day, at night, some of them, like girls and boys, those who are unmarried, they gonna eat salted roasted grains, and they gonna go to bed sleep without drinking water. So if they find someone giving them water in the dream, they may get married to that person. So this is just some people believe that and some don't. But I would like to say a true story of my grandfather. My grandfather was telling us that before he got married, he ate in Khadr Ilyas, he ate a salted roasted grain before he slept. And he told me in his dream, he found that my grandmother was giving him water. So the year after, the following year of that day, both got married. So this is a true story. My grandfather was telling me it happens with him. So some others don't, they sleep and they don't find anyone giving them water. So yeah, I tried one time, nobody gave me water. Here are some references if you would like to have more information. And thank you, I'm done.
Well done, well done.
Well
Great.
done, darling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You. Very
Really
interesting and informative. Very
very
informative.
informative, and we even learn how to make it. And these are all very healthy elements.
Yeah.
Indeed,
They are
indeed,
nuts, yeah.
indeed.
Thank you, my
So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Majid, now we will, please, we are looking forward to your to your teachings.
Good evening, everyone. I will present my topic in my mother tongue in Kurmanji. So, Hevara Bkhair Hamu Hawalan.
Sorry, I don't hear the English. Are all the channels okay?
Do you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the presenters, and thanks for the audience, and also the attendees participating in this program. My subject is going to be about the Yezidi feast, and it is about one of the most important Yezidi feasts, which is the Yezidi New Year fast. Before I talk about the Yezidi New Year, Yezidis have two types of feast, one of which is about whose history is fixed, whereas the other type, history of which is rotational. Sometimes it is, and if you can actually showcase my PowerPoint, I will just, it will be better, I think, for everybody to see what I mean. I'm talking about the fixed feast, like the New Year, the 40 days of we call them summer 40 days feast and assembly feast. If you can just do the PowerPoint, not the writing, not the paper itself, because I sent over the PowerPoint as well. So also we
Sorry,
have
but
baptism
I don't have the
and
PowerPoint
Khidr
on my
Ilyas. باش تمن PowerPoint هنا. I Zirak, I sent it to Zirak last night, or maybe I can share from my side if I can do that. Like I said, the history with fixed dates and the rotational ones, or we can say the dynamic ones, the fixed ones are very much related to nature. And also they are very ancient. We can say they are deeply rooted in history. We cannot talk about all of them, actually. Therefore, I will be focusing on the Yezidi New Year, which is one of the major Yezidi feasts celebrated by all Yezidis across the globe. The New Year feast per se means the new year for Yezidis. So that marks the Yezidi New Year. It's just like the birth of Christ, and so like many nations or peoples have their own New Years, and Yezidis do the same. And the difference, or how it is differentiated from others, is because Yezidis do not have any, like, for example, the birth of Christ is indicated, and for example, the Muslims have the Hijri calendar, but these don't have any year assigned to the New Year, because that because Yezidis believe that the start of the universe is eternal and it's something unknown by anyone. Therefore, Yezidis, we call them actually the Eastern Spring, and it is more the Iranian calendar. It's not the Greek one. For example, the Greek one, the 1st of April, according to the Gregorian, becomes the 3rd or 14th of the Iranian calendar, and the Peshimam, who is actually is responsible for organization of which dates the Yezidi feasts fall on, and usually it is the second week of the Eastern calendar, following the Eastern calendar. According, as for the name of the Yezidi feast, we have, for example, some people call it the Feast of Malexan or Peacock Angel, and in the late 80s or beginning of 90s, and after we have satellites, we also heard of the Red Wednesday, and I investigated this subject because when Nowruz is celebrated, there is a Red Wednesday in Persia, actually celebrated by the Iranians, and in Persian it means New Rosh, when they did the translation, actually became the Red Wednesday. So there is something wrong with that. It is actually, there is an ideological perception about this terminology. It might also be political because, they were trying to link this to Zoroastrianism, and therefore it was also subsequently introduced as a Red Wednesday. I asked some colleagues some Yazidi colleagues from Turkey, and they told me even it was used back in the day, in the past, but I personally believe it is more ideological terminology introduced to make linkages for Yazidis to things. So Sor in Persia means a sacred Wednesday, not a red, because in Kurdish Sor means red, but in Persian it means sacred. So there is actually some kind of confusion of terminology. Therefore, I would say it was mistranslated. And sometimes people, they say the Khor Wednesday or Wednesday, which means the Wednesday of different colors, actually. They don't actually use, but we usually call it Sersal. We don't use other terminology. As for the rituals of this feast, it is naturally, it's basically a very ancient feast. And we have a number of rituals performed during this feast. On the eve of the feast, most Yezidis visit or pick up the wind flowers from the plains, and we call them wind flowers. And also there is another plant that we call it gari. It's a spicy, and people don't actually call that snem during the day because it is very spicy. So the a spicy plant, and they don't. And also they color the eggs with different colors, reflecting the nature as a reflection of nature, and to make preparations for the next day before the sun rise. The key or the housewife would actually make some mud or to put the flower with that spicy plant and attach it to the door of the Yazidi or households, because you have the shell of eggs on top of that mud mixed with that plant, and every household also makes a special type of food. We have a special breeds, we call them it's like a dough, and then we call like sawag, and that kind of bread or gifts is actually distributed to other Yazidi families and households as an act, and the wealthy families and I would say the rich ones actually make charitable acts and deeds to the poor and the needy ones. And in the morning of the feast, the villagers, especially if they live in the villages, they visit their religious shrines. And after that, they have a religious person, they call him custodian, or we can say majawer. Maybe that practice is no longer practiced, or and therefore we have a sense of this kind of right is a bit undermined. And another ritual performed in this feast is especially by youth and girls and boys. Everybody tries to put on nice clothes, and in villages, everybody had like big squares or open space where actually they do the egg fight, and each one holds and to hit it against that egg held in the hand of the other person. So anyone who is breaking the egg of the other person is actually the winner of the game. This is actually practiced up to today. Even in the cities, it is still practiced. In many places, they also play music like drum and trumpet, and the farmers also, in the morning of the feast, they take the shell of the eggs to their farms, believing that it will bring blessings, or we can say bountiness to the production of their farms. And this is very much related to the Mesopotamian, actually, I would say, practices or rites. Additionally, and on the base, religiously speaking, there is a special ceremony conducted in Lalish. It is done by Baba Sheikh, and it is a special dance. We call it Sama. Sama is actually celebrated in many feasts, not only in Sersal, in the Yazidi New Year, but it is one of the very important rituals performed during the Yazidi New Year. This New Year has a lot of meanings. For example, when you boil eggs, it signifies the relationship between the egg and the earth. They believe that the earth was at first like liquid, and then it was solidified until it became in the shape it is now. So we boil the eggs to represent that. Of course, there are verses proving that we boil eggs to represent that earth in the beginning was just like a liquid material, turning into a solid one later on. So it has this kind of significance. As for, I have also some pictures. In my view, there are two key dimensions with a secondary one. It has a historical and religious dimension. The historical dimension focuses on this feast dates back to the old peoples. I can't exactly say whether it is Babylonian or Sumerians or from another civilization back then, because I've also seen this in Russia republics. They also actually color eggs. I think they also have in Germany. I've seen this practice done here in Russia, for example, they make a special type, a symbolic cake. There, the Yezidis I believe Yezidis also somehow related, or because there are some restrictions on Yezidis after the New Year, after which marriage is forbidden to take place. and no land can be cultivated because we don't want any animals, insects inside the earth to be killed, because that's the beginning of reproduction season. So this is a very significant thing to be mentioned for this Yazidi feast. Here, when these different people celebrate this feast, it doesn't mean they're all Sumerians and Babylonians. No, because actually these peoples mix together, and actually they can inherit and take these celebrations from each other. It doesn't mean that we are the offspring of the Sumerians, but we believe so. Even people in Accra there who are not the Yezidis were actually until the 16th and 17th centuries, they were also celebrating and having these kind of rituals. So until the 13th and 14th centuries, after the coming of Sheikh Khalid among Yezidis, the religious dimension has overwhelmed the historical and other dimensions, is more powerful than the historical. I know a number of reforms were made. We understand that these practices were rather to the Sumerians and Babylonians, other peoples but in terms of theologically speaking, but even at the time of Shikhadi, these practices were formed. Then they were more given a religious tone and characteristic, They were characterized religiously. For example, the name of peacock angel became Malikzan, Taus Malik became Malikzan, and as for Yezidis, the religious tone impression has become more powerful. Because they believed if it was all more historically oriented, it could have now disappeared and has no longer been in existence. Therefore, all these are very much religiously attached to preserving these feasts. And we see up to this moment, we've got some religious texts. I will mention some of them because I recite some of them. I had them in Arabic, but I can also say in Kurdish. Came the first Wednesday, the world became decorated. The Wednesday of the April became the sound of the creation, and there are other texts actually talking about the significance of this feast, and they're all religiously oriented. And philosophical dimension of these feast is more related to nature and to the pearl and the creation universe of the universe. The fulcrum of nature is actually related, we see that the philosophical if we can actually do a faith-based conclusion of this philosophical perspective. And if there are any questions, of course, they're welcome, and we will try to answer them according to our knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Oh, how beautiful. Thank you
Good.
very much, Dr. Majid. We now move to the dialogue among all the speakers. So I'm wondering, before we open to the audience, which has very active comments and questions, among the four of you, do you have any comments or questions to each other? And you can unmute, please, all of you.
I think that all the speakers did well and perfect, and the essence of each ceremony or event. So if we talk elaborately about it, So it takes time, but because the time is limited, that's why we restricted on some major points. On my side, that the 3-day fast has more dimensions and approaches to it, but I shortened it and tried to convey
So,
one
for
of the most.
example, which dimensions would you add now?
Well, if you ask me, the
Uh-huh.
one dimension is very important to add it, which is previously, before the arrival of Abrahamic religions, from the 23rd to the 25th should be a Wednesday, the shortest day in the year. And we
Uh-huh.
as sun worshippers believe that the sun is born and it was on Wednesday, and we had to fast as an honor for the birth of the sun and to honor it more one day before sun's birth and one day after that. Well, this date of birth was taken over by Christianity as Jesus Christ's birthday, also 25th of December.
Thank you. Would you like, Sharon, would you like to make another comment now, maybe in reaction to what others say before? You can take your time and think about it. But go ahead.
سيدة شارو دورة تاتي قد تشكي زي ذكي.
Nobody has told me actually.
Sorry, I did.
Before thousands of years, we had known
like
God
thousands of years, we have
in all
recognized God,
languages that we are
and
just claiming the monotheism of
we
God,
very much believe in
and we are
monotheism of
appreciating
God
the
and
existence
oneness
of God
of God.
also. And it has been in Arabic language, I would like
I
to
will
say,
say it in
which can be much more.
I will say it in Arabic. Those
The
who
wise persons from all
understand,
times. This means
he's addressing the human again, that there is only one God, that he is the omnipresent, who has no replacement, and you find the fact about the presence of God. Also, we have the oneness prayers, and for example, the angel was actually the first one who proved oneness of God. He tells God, there is no God but you, and you are only the only one deserving of worshiping. No one is worth prayers and worshippers. Even in our Ezidi language, we say, oh God, oh Lord, you are the King of Thrones. You are omniscient, you are omnipresent, you know of everything in the world. So we have in other languages also, for example, we have a Sheshemis a verse. It means that God is the entity that actually created the world. And also in Pirsini Bahri, this is in Turkish, I can't translate. Sorry. So it means we use this follow righteousness, and we would like good deeds to be followed.
We are praising God and worshiping God in all languages, and we Yezidis are not making partners for Yezidis as the other people are calling mushrikeen. We are the first nation that has believed in God, in the monotheism of God, and the believing of the existence of God, and how God has created the world, the earth, and the sky. And how Yazidis are finding that being arrogance and arrogancy is prohibited. God says that I'm neither from earth, but we appreciate many other natural elements like sun and stars, and we says that sun is the direction of worshiping, and during the creation of the world, sun was the main element, so that's why we are directing towards the sun while we are worshiping. And while also when before sleeping, we just mention the monotheism of God and witness that God is the monotheism and deserves only worshiping.
Thank you. Uh, how about Majid? Do you have comments or questions to others?
Actually, I don't have any questions because as I know Pir Mamo for a long time, he wrote a lot about Yazidi festus and such rituals. So
Okay.
some people asking, maybe Pir Mamo can answer Aslan Kızılhan. He wrote
Yes, I just want to first do the dialogue among you. We will go thoroughly over the questions. They are excellent and challenging.
I want to say Medved Bej.
I'd like to say Yazidis have many kinds of feasts. For example, the changeable and unchangeable, like the Shavbarat and the Hajia feasts that has been misconceptionally and misunderstandingly have been interpreted, and some Yazidis are stating that the moon-based calendar is before Islam even, and the sun-based calendar is also that has been also adopted by the Empire of Roman and the Persian people. And the moon-based calendar, but they are two different ones. So the feast of Hajia is aligned with the one that Muslims of Al Adha are celebrating, which is also based on it's very like it's on the same date almost. So these are very ancient rituals and celebrations adopted by the Yezidis. But Yezidis have not copied them. They have their own rituals and their own calendars that they are following. Like Ibrahim Khalil and Ismail, they have their own ones. Theologically, when you are talking about them,
Okay, let's go to the youngest one. Dalia, do you have any comments or questions to the other presenters before we open the discussion with the audience?
No, actually, I enjoyed everyone's presentation. It was so cool. Thank you.
Yes, there's always, on the one hand, we enjoy a lot what we get, and some of the comments are there should be more and longer, etc. I agree.
Yeah,
But at least
time is limited.
we are having a wonderful opening. Let's move indeed to beyond the compliments you received from the audience to the question. Faris Ketty, you have a lengthy question. Maybe you want to speak to speak to the mic, to present your question to the mic. Rabbi, can we give the mic to Faris Ketty? Rabbi?
Yes, he's in here. There he goes.
Wonderful. Okay.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and you look very good too. Hi.
Thank you very
Please
much.
ask your question. It's a very important question. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening for you and for your respected guests. I'm glad that I can attend these good presentations with good information. Actually, at the beginning, before the question, just my note was because I thought that the presentations will be more about the role of these feasts and rituals and practices in encouraging the communities to face the challenges of genocides and the psychological and trauma problems. However, I being late, I don't know if at the beginning there was some presentation regarding that or not. But the two presentations or the last three presentations that I attend, it was more about the feasts and the ceremony of the feast and the philosophy behind the traditions done in that feast. Just I have a question for Dr. Momo. It is written in the question and answer, and if he want, I can read it, or if he can read the questions.
Please, you can read it because
Please, yes.
because that way everybody hears you. Go ahead.
So my question was actually, Dr. Momo, as you know, in the time of genocides or at the critical times, the people be more attractive or more connected to the spiritual or to the religions, like more than the normal days or normal day lives or normal times. So I want to know if it is only like a psychological manner and it is true for all the people, or it depends on the culture of the society. If there is another minorities or communities been attacked or passed through genocides or being persecuted over the history, does they also be more attractive to the religion rituals? They be more connected to their religion? Or it is just a culture of the Yazidi community that, as you see after the 2014 genocide, the Yazidi people be more connected to their religion. They tried to rebuild many temples, and you know, I think what I mean by my question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Faris. We decided to talk, we all four, the advices of Dr. Yael Danieli, to talk about the tradition of Yezidism, and that's why we didn't go deep to the current events, especially the ISIS attack on Yezidis, because it's another theme. According to your questions, simply aware and rich people go to psychotherapists and poor people go to superstitions. So simply the Ezidis differ themselves theologically and spiritually because of the affiliation feeling and the same fate. Those two characteristics connect small communities all over the world. And the more you are spiritually connected with the ethics of your religion, the more psychologically you feel free and better. So if you, of course, you know, or the Ezidis know, we have some piri. And if people had some mental disorders, they take him there. And he has to stay there 2 3 days. And in many cases, he's recovered and comes back. There is no psychotherapeutical treatment, but spiritual ones. So if you believe in that, and in many cases, Ezidis, because we have for each disease a small god, small g, a god. And this is before the arrival of Abrahamic religions to our community. So Ezidis are more in many cases they are treated by sama, which is a music, and some of them they even take them to Lalish to stay a couple of days there and they feel better. So mental disorders are treated in Yazidism spiritually by religious music, by taking them to Pir Hajjal, by taking them to Lalish, and they feel better.
Thank you. First of all, thank you a lot for Dr. Mano for taking the challenge of the answer. And thank you, Dr. Faris, very much for your question. It's a crucial question. Today's webinar was more to introduce the Yezidism to the world. So the world get some idea about who are these people, what do they believe, what do they hope for, what are their dimensions of mind and heart, and spiritually. But you're absolutely correct that we need a special webinar on the healing aspects, healing and challenging aspects of religions in the midst of trauma. And we will do that indeed with other religions. I can share with you that, for example, in Israel, when the hostages were freed from Gaza, the Israeli hostages, even today we see that we learn that they very much adhere to the traditions and kept the traditions, the Friday, the Hanukkah, etc., which helped them maintain a semblance of continuity and normality and spirituality in a place that was horrible. So your question is excellent, and we would even take it further than only the Yazidi people. Maybe we'll have several religious representatives who would discuss it. But we will talk. How about you join our working group and you bring the idea, we work on it and we implement it. That would be that is how we work actually. We have ideas and we work on implement. This is the genius of this working group. So thank you very much. Audrey asked here, Sharp Ibrahim mentioned Adam and Eve, are those their names? And she also said Dr. Majid mentioned writings. Are there holy books and writings? What form do they take? Actually, Sharo presented some of them, but I think some of the panelists would have better answers than me. Is there a liturgy to religious observances? Would be interesting to make a comparative study with Judaism. Has any scholar done so? Thank you, Audrey. That was exactly what I was. See, I told you our audience is brilliant. So, anyone wants to take that question?
I think Mom Sharo is the best one for
actually,
answering this question.
It's several questions. So you take whichever
I mean the
want.
second one.
Go ahead.
Not me, I'm just suggesting him.
Okay.
Okay.
Shara, do you want to address these questions, please?
Can anybody read for him or one of the interpreters?
Yeah, I believe the interpreter interpreted it. So, where is Cheryl?
أستاذ شيرو أنت موجودة؟ تسمعني؟ مام شيرو؟ أستاذ شيرو؟ Mr. Shero, are you here? مام شيرو تلفيدري؟
He's not here.
مايكروفوناتها
He's muted.
قرتيها
I think he
مايكروفون
does.
مايكروفونها قرتيها.
He's here. Hello, Cheryl, please.
Yeah, but he's muted. He
Yes,
forgot.
now,
He's
yes,
muted.
yes, yes,
Okay, please
yes.
speak. Thank you. Go ahead, Cheryl. The question was to you.
We have a special verse. It's called Beta Jindi. Jindi means soldier, the person who is very adherent to their language, to their religion, that which alerts us to wake up early. Why? First to worship God, then to go to your job in the early morning, because this says that, oh, soldier, it's the day, so now it's time for worshiping, and sleeping is not good for you. Wake up. It's also the Yezidis are supposed to wake up early, wash their faces, and start with their worship, and face themselves towards the sun, and demand God for unity and mercy. Regarding those people who wake up late, their worship is not accepted, and those people who are lazy in worshiping God, that's why God don't grant them a lot, and those people who wake up late is not a good thing for human being. Since you are when you are a worker, it's also different. Those people who are receiving prohibited money and legacy, they are going to not be accepted in the council of God. Those people who are worker must be wake up early and with love and go to their job. That's why these verses are clarifying. They say that so long as you are worshiping God, God will reply to you and grant you what you are pursuing too. This one is also for those people who are particularly caring about worshiping, and especially for worker also, and not only for the worshippers, especially for the Khalmatkar. So it's better. The best way is to be admitted to adherent to your principles and not feel lazy, to do goodness, to do charity, so that in the hereafter you become a good person and accepted one. Another holy verse is also says, all people do good things, God grants goodness, and in the earth and in the sky there is goodness, and so that you can become a part of it. Regarding goodness, we are demanding goodness from God for every human being. So long as if you see someone in need, don't ask him from which religion you are. Just do the goodness. Even if you pour the goodness into the water, the charity, it will be accepted by God. So that's why we say that, oh God, you are the permanent, you are the king of the thrones, you are the eternal, you are, oh God, please grant mercy to 72 nations, to adoptees, to everyone in need. So we are worshiping and asking mercy for every human being. This is Yezidism. This is our path, and this is our religion.
Thank you so much for your answer. Majid, is it that you want to add? Please go ahead.
I think he asked about that I mentioned that if Yazidi has holy book, answer is the Yazidi don't have holy book like Islam and Christian and Jewish. It mentioned in some text, holy texts, that Yazidi have holy book, so-called Mashaf Arash and Jelwa, but it is not written like in any alphabet. We couldn't find it until now. Yazidi beliefs are practiced according to oral tradition. We have a lot of holy texts, so-called Qawl, Bayt, Nasihat, Musahbat. This kind of holy texts, Yazidi have it.
Good question, good answers, and who knows, maybe somebody in the future will create these books. I know a lot of brilliant people right here. So
I think Yazidi has some Yazidi elite try to collect this and make it together as a book, holy book. Bir Mama know better about this project.
Well, I can make a comment on this subject because I was involved in this process. It was in 2012, I think, and the former Prince Tahsin,
2010, yeah.
yes, requested me. It was a request from the University of Duhok, and then he agreed on it, and we established a gremium, and it was me and Dr. Majid, Dr. Saeed, Khadr Dumili, Arshad, and remind me who else. Qawal Suleiman was still alive. And we gathered about 190 religious texts. And we prepared everything. Then Kovan edited it grammatically and morphologically. So I discussed the issue with the religious council, spiritual council, and especially with Prince Tahsin. Told him if we publish it as we have been, as we have gathered them together, then we will be criticized because a lot of Abrahamic's impact, religious impact, is on our religious text. So we have rarely a text that without mentioning the name of Prophet Muhammad or Jesus or Moses, or Abraham. Anyhow, those religious texts were formulated from the 11th to the 14th century under the impact of Islam to protect us so that they will to protect our religion and our survival. So I suggest a reformation is necessary to go through those texts. We have to purify them because most of them were not directly or 100% related with the fundamental ethics of our religion. That's why, and then the other subject which I suggested to write an introduction and talking about the subject of devil, because we are in misconception. We should clarify and show people of the world community that we are not devil worshippers. And at that time, we agreed on some points because the history and the conception of devil is a Sufi one rather than a Yezidyan one. So anyhow, again, they were against those reformations because they believe that the majority of Yazidis will say we have been practicing these religious texts for thousands, at least for 900 years, and now somebody will come and say they are not correct. So people will not accept reformation, and that's why the texts are still here. The texts are still here.
Thank you for sharing it.
and the spiritual council, I talked to them a couple of months ago, and the prince, and all of them are against any reformation, and all of them are against publishing as they are, because in both cases people will not cope with the reformation or with the publication.
I want to comment, if you allow me. Dr. Yel, can I comment? نسبة هيك نسبة نشر كرنا كتابك بيروس راسي بروسك قالك بزحمة.
Publishing a holy book actually is a very hard job. A scientific foundation should adopt this thing because it's not an easy thing. The theologists of Yezidis also should cooperate with these institutions for regarding the Reformation. It's a dangerous subject. I have another perspective, but right now it has been changed a bit. The Yazidi texts must be left as they are, in my opinion. For example, some people say that this word is Arabic or Persian, so we don't have to change them. These things are dangerous, in my own opinion, because based on my perspective, after the Academy of Theology of Yezidis in Kyrgyzstan, I have understood a lot of things. For example, the text, the religious texts, for example, when it contains some characters from Islam or Christians, they have their own purpose, and in case you change them, it will be changed totally in the Yazidi religion. So our people are very connected to history. We don't like that much the foreign language to be included in our own language and other texts. So I say, in case in the future a Yazidi Foundation adopts this job with the theologians and the religious people, at that time they may get their legitimacy. At that time, I remember the deceased Baba Sheikh and Prince Tahsin at that time was supporting this thing, but based on the genocide and hardships, these people who were working on them, they separated from each other and they couldn't work on it. That's why I think Dr. Mamo can talk about these things. In case people are not satisfied with the Yazidi, with the existence of some Islamic characters, for example, in the religious texts, you can give a correct interpretation to these texts. For example, the name of a caliphate, or especially the stories. Now we have many stories in other holy books. For example, the story of Pharaoh in the Quran. Also in the Christianity, there are some stories. Each one are interpreting in their own way.
I don't think we'll come to a resolution right this minute. I think this is an ongoing discussion. And I think these kind of discussions, from my impression of the world, are taking place in all of the religions today. So let's keep our minds open and go from there. There are three very important points that are still here to resolve. I think one is very specific, so let's start with that one. Then there's the lovely comment from Victoria Antonova, our Ukrainian friend, who is giving us greetings and is finding, and she tells us that they're Kurdish friends in Ukraine, which is interesting, and that there are commonalities with the Ukrainian people in terms of genocide. And of course, that they also have the very ancient pagan tradition of decorating eggs in Easter. But let me go to a very specific question from Marwan Murad, who asks, you did very well. Can any one of you talk a bit about Shiv Brat? It seems like...
إذا شرطوا دي بحث كان ناس باخم بحث شبراتها.
Say that again?
Well, yes. Well, we have taken over a lot of Abrahamic ethics, theology, and superstitions. And one of them is Shavbarat. Shavbarat is not fundamentally a principle of or pillar of Yezidism. No, we took it over from the impact of Islam on us, and this is the Yezidis have realized that it's not authentic feast. That's why it's cancelled. It's in the last 40 years or 50 years, it's no more practiced because the citation of the text were purely Islamic ones, and only a group of people were practicing it, and the other were mocking at them. So it is cancelled at the beginning of 80s, late 70s of the last century.
Thank you. And by the way, for some of you to know, in the library of the center, we do have writings about the Ezidis and from the Ezidis. And so please visit. And so Audrey, you can find some things there with us. And we will exhibit them in our library within a month. So that would be very helpful to people here. There are two other important questions, unless I'm missing another one, which is quite possible. Just a statement I'm adding from Ali Khalil. By the way, from a scientific perspective, there is no such thing as the devil in this world. They're devilish people. But let me go back to the two important questions about Orange is asking who wrote the text. Do they contain our history, or are they religious rituals? I'm not sure I understand, but if you do, please take it on. But I would like Margarita to come on. Is Margarita still here, Robbie? Can Margarita speak?
I'm here.
Yes, please. You have very important questions and thoughts. please share it with us. Share them with us.
Which one did you want?
Go
Which
right,
one?
go ahead. You pick them.
Well, for one, thank you all so very much for your contributions, for your knowledge, your expertise. I am just so grateful I can listen to this. And I could listen. I would love to have a 3 hour a 3 hour academic session with you individually.
We can arrange for that too. But
I mean to really go in depth.
let me use your comment to say, if anyone in the audience can help us contribute to our interpretation fund, that would help making things longer too. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
that's good to know. I had no idea, of
Yes,
course.
please. We can absolutely use your donations. They are used totally for the improvement of what we do.
And I do, yeah, I take care of that. Well, let's see. Goodness, I have to remember some of the questions that I
Okay,
asked.
you made the point about in the camps.
Yeah.
So could you please share that?
Okay, couple of things. Yeah, well, one of them is I lived for 3 months in Kamp Mamrashan 2 years ago to start my school. And I saw no outward signs of the people practicing religion. And with very little I knew, very little. It was not until almost 2.5 months that I realized in the cabins there were hangings on the wall with, but later on I found out there was some soil from Lalish, I think, in it. But I didn't see, I've wondered really, how did these wonderful young students that we have in our school, just such deep thinkers, such absolutely wonderful young people that don't compare to the Western kids in no way. These are so rich with their soul rich, I call it. On a soul level, they are so rich. How do the parents teach them that? How do they teach them about the religion? Are there any traditions where the parents, like in the Western traditions, the Abrahamic religions, they pray together, they sing together, and the children learn from going to the synagogue or the church or whatever? I didn't hear or see any sign of that. How do they express the religion? Are there factual expressions of the religion that the parents teach the children?
We are open to all of you commenting.
سيدة شروز تشتكي بيجم تجي بشتكي كرم كبيجة. Well, it's very crucial point which has been raised by Margareta. And we Yezidis, we are not like Muslims to go to the mosque or
Right.
to the church like Christians. So we learn spiritually from our tradition, from our neighbor, from our parents. So we don't get spirituality only from our parents, but from the neighbors, from a common feast that gather together, eat together, and talk together. They dance together. This affiliation feeling, this feeling of belonging is very strong among Yazidis because they know that they will lose the ethics of their religions if they don't attach to the spirituality of the religion. We have no other choice only to stick to our tradition, to practice it, to learn it in the community, to communicate it, and to practice it. And that's why the Yazidis have been surviving all those genocides and persecution because each Yazidi has his own pir, has his own sheikh, has his own, his after brother and his after sister. So this spirituality bring people, Yezidis, together and let them to come nearer to each other and learn spirituality from each other.
Well, then I still have a question. I mean, I hear what you say, but I'm a Western person, and we go by facts and clear expressions of things. And when you say they learn from each other, from the neighbors, we dance together. Um, what what in fact? How do the parents teach? Do they not pray together? Do they talk about a God? Do they talk about Taos Melech with the children? And do they pray? I don't even know about that. I lived with them for 3 months and I don't even know that.
Well, actually, 5 times a day we pray and we look at the sun. So we
Yeah.
face the sun, sunrise and sunset, and during the day also. So twice a year, there is towers going through all the areas and the villages where the Yazidis inhabit, and there they learn a lot. Then your sheikh and your peer visit you at least twice a year, and they advise you. So they transmit the tradition, the Êzîdiyan text, which strengthen the spirituality of Yazidis. So we go to Lalish 7 days in Jama and other occasions. So there also there is Sama, and we sit there and we hear them. So even if you don't understand it, we see it how people come together, how they communicate, how they transmit spirituality from one to the others. So this self-belonging is one of the fundamental principles of our religion. And honestly, previously, they believe that if the texts are written, so the spirituality will weaken, and that's why they were against it. But they learned that they have to take it more in a civilized way and write it down and practice it. So it is a kind of transformational process ignorant about from ignorance about the ethics of religion to practicing it in reality and making it not and making it none. Even the weak points that which is misconception about us that we are devil worshippers. Now people are more aware to answer this question. Previously, we were afraid. We didn't know. We had no answer because we were ignorant. But especially in the last 40 or 50 years, a lot of academics have appeared on the service, writing text and so explaining varieties of subjects that have been unknown to the community. So we learn from our parents and from our sheikh and from our peer how to pray early morning and before you sleep, to how to look at the sunrise and sunset. Then we learn from when we go to Lalish, when there is a New Year Sersal, as Dr. Majid mentioned that, or Khidr Ilyas. So these at least 5 to 7 authentic feasts we have that are before the arrival of Abrahamic religions, and they are historical process that started 2,000 years up to now. And they gather all Yezidis together and feel them that they belong to each other, they have to support each other, and that's why we survived.
Thank
Okay,
you.
on that point,
Thank
can I
you.
ask one
Right,
follow-up?
Margarita, sorry, there are other people.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. I just wanted to show some of the books that we have on the Ezidis. I I don't hear the English interpretation.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank
I
you.
will translate. I will translate because it's
Thank
Kurdish.
you, thank
There,
you. Go
there is,
ahead.
there
Go
is,
ahead,
I'm
please.
sorry,
there
Matt.
is,
I'm too interested in knowing what you.
there is actually the Kurdish, there is a
The
Kurdish
curriculum
curriculum,
of the
and which is
pedagogy
a
of
religious
Yezidis for the
curriculum
Yazidi
taught at the
religion has been
Kurdistan
created.
schools. In the
In German
70s
language,
and
also in
80s, there was
Kurmanji,
actually
also
no
in
such
Iraq
learning
are
and teaching at
educated
schools.
to
But now in the
children.
schools, there is a curriculum, a religious
Uh,
curriculum taught to the Yazidi children. And so actually children learn from that as well. So we Isis are in, like you said, like Dr. Mahmoud said, Yezidis actually learn their religion by practice. We learn it from home. So that's also one way. And also we have a special system, like a caste system. We have peer, sheikh, murids, and everybody here after brother, here after sister, and
in this
these
way,
people actually engage
Yazidis
with each other,
are
interact
getting
with each
educated to
other,
their own
and their
religion
religious
because
learning happen as
the
such.
heritage
And
of
also
Yazidis is not
heritage-wise,
textual.
it is not something, usually it's more an oral heritage, and Yezidism is more related to feelings of affiliation, and we find so even if you don't practice actually these religious rites, you have this feeling of affiliation and belonging to Yezidism, which is very deeply ingrained and seated in the Yezidis.
Thank you. There are some answers to Farah's question about how can a young Yazidi person today learn? And I would assume that that the major challenge would be among the Yazidi refugees around the world outside of Iraq, no? Dalia, would you like to comment on that? Dalia?
Speaker, Dalia, speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
actually now in Germany also like some religious people from Yazidi like religions, they have opened like schools for Yazidi kids. Now they just announced from the next month, like once a week there will be a school. Like there is houses in every like city in Germany for Yazidi. They practice their religious occasional like celebrations, such stuffs, and they have invited kids if they want to take like religious courses. They're gonna teach them everything about Yazidi religion.
Thank you, Dalia. And this is another wonderful book we have right here. But we have much more. So, and you have the link in the chat to our library. Thank you. We don't really have much time left. But what we are learning is how much interest there is. And we are very, very excited about that. So please keep in touch with us. The working group meets every 2 weeks. It's an amazing working group. It is creative and informative and everything you want. There is one more question, and there was one other person who wanted, how about you do it maybe next time? And Faris said that there's Yezidism courses in school, traditions of feasts and fast and praying. Wonderful. There's so much more for us to learn. So let's just check. There is one more question. It's a painful one, I'm afraid. Who knows? From Seth Iceland. When the Islamic State decided to commit genocide against the Yazidi people, did they go about, quote, studying Yazidi religious beliefs and practices beforehand to build a religious justification for mass murder? Or did they launch the genocide first and then declare religious justifications later in order to retroactively justify their horrific atrocities? The question is actually so pertinent to so many situations, but if anyone wants to take it, please. It's actually asking the victims
Again,
to
Dr.
speculate.
Daniel, so that I can, so can I get that? Is the question is that they started slaughtering Yazidis, then they thought of building a state, or the other way around? What was the question again, please?
I don't think it's a question. I think it's actually a statement. Seth, are
Statement.
you still here? Do you want to say do you want to say it actually? Robbie, is Seth here?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. It's a very painful question, so maybe instead of asking the question, maybe I think there's a statement hidden behind the question.
I guess where it comes from is, so first some background. I'm a genocide scholar and I study both the Holocaust and the Yazidi genocide.
Excellent.
And my question comes from when I've been studying ISIS propaganda. And again, propaganda has to be taken with a grain of salt. But one common theme I've seen is they claim that they had quote unquote religious experts from the Islamic State quote unquote study Yazidi traditions, which is code for them interpreting them in the worst possible way to commit genocide. But I was just wondering if any of you had heard around the time of the genocide or afterwards from either conversations with survivors or scholars or academics or other members of either the Yazidi community or outside of it, maybe the order of operations there in which either what you had heard about this process that had been described in ISIS propaganda. I know it's also a very painful and broad question that may not be able to be readily answered here. It was just a thought that I had.
We were all involved in this circumstances. We were all there. We know what happened. We know that they attacked the Yazidis because they were powerless. We had no party. We were not protected well, so we were powerless, and that was the weakest chain of the society to enter Iraq and destroy the ethics of minorities. So whatever they did, they withdraw it from some religious texts of their religion. They didn't behave arbitrarily. They justified their action by reciting some religious some text from Quran or from any other book that have been published by their leaders. Anyhow, it was very clear what they were doing. It was very clear that they were justifying their actions of attacking Yazid, slaughtering them, raping the women. They said everything is allowed because we have in the history of our religion such events that happened during a prophet's time and till later on. So I don't see that is something secret to the society. Everybody knows about that, and we were there and we talked with the victims, and we hear the perpetrators in the TV and other courts, but they were not sorry for their actions, and they justified it because they said we are defending the ethics of our religion.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for explaining. That makes a lot of sense to me. I appreciate your
There is a Muslim would like to comment. Let that be the last comment. Rabbi, can you find Mohsen? It's Mohsen.
In here now.
Thank you.
Ivara Perun Bashan. Hi everyone.
Good. Thank you very much for all the contributions and the presentations. And also thanks to Mam Cheryl for presenting the religious texts, and for Dr. Majid, Dr. Master Dali, and Dr. Mamo, Dr. Riyad. I would like to say something, but I wouldn't talk long. There will be another webinar, right? There will be another webinar, right? That's a question.
There will be many more webinars, absolutely.
But
help us raise funds for interpretation.
بس محتاجين باراكم كان يجيبوا مترجمة لما باريوان بديني وقدي هم يقلق ويبينار دي كان.
Hey, can we hear the translation, please?
He's wondering if he can comment or something, I think. Yeah.
كرمك سيدة شرو.
We Yezidis, we know that there is only one God, and we believe that both good and evil come from the same source.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil word doesn't have any existence in our religion, and they consider Yezidis as infidels and disbelievers. No, we are not. We actually believers. We believe in God. We worship God, and we know God for 8,000 years, and we are the first people who actually believed in monotheism and one God. We say that our God is powerful, and he is the one who carved everything out, and Lord is the creator of all the universe, including mankind. So I would like to reiterate that we do believe in God and nothing else. What with the misconception people have about these, and they try to showcase these as infidel believers, and they say that these are polytheists. They mean to harm us. And it is baseless. These are baseless allegations. We Yezidis just worship God.
Mhm.
There is also there is a verse that there is only one God that's deserving of praise and supplication. So they genocided us. They accuse us of being followers of devil, and based on that, they actually genocide us. We get genocided only because we are Yezidis. They want to obliterate us, actually. And we will try our best to remain Yezidis. Thank you. That was my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. We need a whole series of webinars to understand why people hate. But to receive the rationalizations as, quotes, truth or facts, that's another issue. So we really have to stop. We need the last words from everybody, from these brilliant presenters. What a rich webinar we've had. And very challenging, and it will create so many other webinars. So maybe we will go, let's go backwards because Cheryl just spoke. Majid, what is your last word?
Thank you very much, Dr. Yale. Galax Basbo.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and it's a very timely webinar just ahead of the Yazidi fasting days. It was a productive presentation and webinar. I believe with the presence of this many people from outside the community is also significant, and I hope they've learned something new, and I hope there was a new learning and I wish you all a very good time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dalia, dear. Dalia.
Yes.
Your last word.
So my last word is that
It's just the last word for today. It's not the last word forever.
so that just people get like accept each other, people respect other religions, people don't harm each other based on their skin, based on the colors, based on their beliefs. So in this case, I think we all will live in peace if we didn't if we just leave each other and accept each other and be open-minded as much as we can, so that we all can live equally and in peace.
God bless you.
This is
Thank you.
my last message to everyone.
You're wonderful. Thank you, dear. And Dr. Mamo, please.
Okay, I want to conclude this session by thanking all the organizers, especially Dr. Daniele, and she's the engine of this webinar and so active. also Zirek organized a lot, and
Absolutely.
great thanks to all the interpreters, because the religious texts are not easy to translate them simultaneously to English and the other way around. I think we need more webinars, and especially my intention, my aim is that to to show the world community that we are in a misconception,
Mhm.
and we have to show our reality, and our reality is different from the articles and books of the 17th, 18th, and 19th century about us, which they put us they described us as devil worshippers. There is no devil in our religion. So we are a peaceful community. We are not a missionary religion. We don't want authorities. We don't want to take over power. All what we want is that people should accept us as we are and not as we should be. And thank you.
I love you too. Okay. And last but not least, last words from, is he still here? Shara? Would you like to say the last words for this webinar, please?
نعم شكرا لهذا اللقاء.
Thank you so much for this fruitful meeting and for all of these participants. And thank you so much, and thanks to all for God and the Almighty God, the monotheist God, and who is the creator of the angels and the sun. The Yezidism is the path of truth, peaceful, and justice. There is a we are the spreader of God, and the tyrannists lost this world. All these rituals, or our rituals, or everything belong to us, symbolize the unity of God and the monotheism of God. Thank you so much for everyone and for all the participants.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for Zirak and for Michelle. I don't have enough words to thank the panelists. You've done amazing challenge of both speaking internally to the Yazidi people and externally to others. This is amazing. And we are looking forward to more webinars. You please feel free to write us your ideas so we can flourish with them. And all my love to you, and until next time. And have a good fast.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Good
night.